Previously on Unranked.
We're at the 18th
Oh
hole,
boy.
and we just finished it, and he goes, "Oh my god, I hear water rushing in." So he's clearly like he's ripping his headset off, but in the video game, it's just his character because he rips his headset off and puts it upside down on the couch. His character just quickly just flies upside down, just like flicks it over, and his just head's like upside down. And I just hear like clattering in the background.
Look, here's the thing. Okay, we could spend the whole episode, I think, going over this picture. So there's a couple of things here. So yes, the PSVR has been thrown onto the couch.
It's still upside down.
Next to that, on the right, we do have the wet.
This is a new wet vac. It's a new wet vac.
It is.
Look at the scissors.
It is because the handles haven't been like punctured, like the.
Yep.
So that looks very much like I just ran to Home Depot, bought this, threw it in the back of the trunk, got it back to the home, whipped it out, and did some wet vacuum. The curious thing, above that on the right-hand side, we got Halo on the TV. We got a little
now this is interesting.
Halo.
Let's zoom
This
out.
is interesting. Yeah. You got some Halo Master Chief collection there on the TV. It does say controller disconnected. It wasn't like he was just playing. And that's an OLED TV. So the burn-in, does he know about OLED burn-in? Because...
Don't know the last day he played darts, but he has not removed them from the board.
No, probably
Still
been
on the
for a
board.
long time.
And this is... It looks like a classic car of some kind.
Yeah, but it's got
there's
wings.
something else. Yeah, there's something else going on there.
What was going on there? What was going on?
What was going on?
What's going on with that? What's that car?
That's that's just like one of the free Lego.
Go grab it. Grab it and show us.
Grab and show. A little grab
This
and
is
show.
the Unranked Podcast. This is Christian Humes here with episode 396. We have Alex Tuna Marinello, who's grabbing a classic Lego car, and we have GreatBriTom Caswell.
4 away from 400, baby. Let's do it.
So this is one of those free. It was a 3-in-1, but I've always kept it as the plain car. But it is a simple plain car. You can also turn it into, I think, a boat and then a pretzel stand.
A pretzel stand.
That's the third thing.
Well, it's got a pretzel right here at the front of the car.
That's great. That's great.
Wow, that is
and also,
that is very different than I thought it would look like.
It's a free thing. It was free.
It was free if you purchased like a certain amount, and it happened to be that when I purchased, I think it was when I purchased the Seinfeld set. This came for free.
There we go.
I got a very different car for free. I got like the actual, like the black one, the classic, like taxi style one, and then it has like the little guy who waits for it, but it doesn't transform. So it's maybe not as cool.
Well, this one doesn't transform either. I have to take it apart and reassemble.
It transforms.
Sure. That's
okay.
true.
Like it doesn't like I can't transform it right this second.
No, I mean maybe if you were a master builder.
Master builder, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to pick up where we left off, where you guys left off. Yeah. So we had torrential rain here in New York, and it's funny. I was it was pouring, and I was like, oh, like I love the sound of rain. So I opened my window down here in the basement. No, that's you're saying but that's not what happened. So the window's open, right? And I'm playing mini golf with Chris. We are in the 18th hole. We finished the 18th hole. I wanted to hear the rain.
Oh, okay. I thought it was because you tried to get your PSVR 2 through there a few months ago.
He's saying that this is him even opening the window has nothing to do with the wetness of the room.
So the window's open, and I hear all of a sudden you hear it. You hear that water hit the concrete floor, and and it's loud, and I'm like, oh my God. So I just say to Chris, like, I think water's rushing in. I gotta go. So I leave. And then I go and I see the water like coming in through the window, and I'm like, fuck. Okay, so I close I'm like, God damn it, you goddamn moron. Why did you do this? So I close the window, right? The window well itself starts filling with water. So the window well, the water is rising in the window well. And then the seams around the window start to just water is now flowing out of that window. So water's flowing out of the window. I panic. I'm like, oh my God. So I don't have any buckets or anything down here. So I run upstairs. I'm like, oh my God, maybe I just have to like scoop out the window well. So I get the biggest baking bowl that we have. I run outside. I am drenched within 2 seconds of being outside. I run over to the side of the house. The whole side of the house is flooded. Like the entire side of my house is flooded with water. So I am trying I am on my knees scooping out the water, and the water is just rushing in. It's not from the rain above. It is from the flooding on the side of the house.
Yeah.
And it's coming like a little down the window well. There's a crack and there's water rushing in through there into the window well. So I'm like, fuck, we're fucked here. So I'm like, forget the whole scooping out of the window well. That's done. So I try to get like a big broom to push the water away from the window well. That's not working. So then I run back downstairs. We have a bunch of my daughter's old clothes in a bunch of bins. So that's why, I mean, the franticness you saw in that picture is me just dumping stuff out of bins and then putting the bin underneath the window. And the water is coming down the wall. It's like sticking to the wall. So it's like I developed this like contraption with this paper to try to catch the water to make it go off the wall, flick off the wall and into the bucket. The buckets are starting to fill now. I'm like, oh my God, I need another bucket. So I go upstairs, I grab the recycling bin, I dump all the shit out of there. I'm coming down. We got another bucket. We got like 4 things over here. And then my mother-in-law is here, right? And my Brit's not home yet. And my mother-in-law's here, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell's I don't know what we're gonna do. The whole fucking basement's flooding. So it's on the unfinished side. So that was so that's concrete floor. So I start taking everything.
That's ideal over that carpet.
Yeah. So everything that was on the floor that was dry because it was starting to move,
spread
closer and closer. Yeah. So then I grabbed everything that was like paper. I left things that were plastic. I left things that were metal. And I tried to get everything in here. Some stuff didn't make it. So a lot of stuff did. It's so funny because the rain let up for a little bit, and I was able to scoop the water out of the window well. And I thought we were out of the storm, and only the unfinished side had gotten wet. So I was like, oh, this is fine, right? Like whatever, I'll get a wet vac and it'll clean it. Within a half hour, the rain starts again. The window well fills up again. And now the ground is so saturated with water that my sewage pipe that is running out of the foundation to the street, right, through a hole, is now flooding. The water is now coming back, not sewage water, thank God. It's just rainwater that is coming back through the foundation, out of the hole where the pipe goes through to the street. The pipe's fine, but the ground is so wet that the water is starting to come back. So I had to get another bucket, and this time the water is spreading and it's coming through. So the door behind me, right, it's starting to hit the carpet. Now it's getting on the carpet. The carpet's getting drenched. And I call my mom because I'm like, I think she's got a wet vac. And they didn't. I don't know where I got this idea that they had one, but her boyfriend had just purchased one last week. So I drove over there, sped over there, grabbed that fucking wet vac. It not even opened. You were right. It was not open. Ran back here and just wet vac. I had to make about 6 trips with that thing. Luckily, no damage. I mean, the only stuff that really got wet that was paper was stuff that I didn't give a shit about. So we threw that stuff out. A lot of stuff was in plastic bins. So we're fine. I mean, the carpet over by the door got very, very wet and needed to be cleaned, which I have spent. I mean, the day of I was cleaning it, but it still had a lingering smell. So I've hydrogen peroxide and vinegared it, and not at the same time, in different times. And then deodorized it. So we're good now. Basement's dry as a bone. Smells good.
It's only going to get worse. I have some bad news for you.
You're going to have to make some adjustments to this.
What do you mean?
Well, anyway.
I don't think you understand how we're literally at the tip of the iceberg of this being the norm for us here on the East Coast.
Yeah, so I was going to get there's actually basements, and not kidding, there's actually basement specialists that will come in and seal up that window for me and seal up the hole
But if it fills with water, can it's like you're gonna have to pump that out. So
yeah, but it won't come through the seams right away.
sure.
So I'll be able to. So that's the
Yeah,
quick
but it'll
fix.
buy you some time.
The
It'll buy
thing,
me
the
some
thing
time.
I sent you though on Reddit, people have these sub pumps set up. So you get like a metal half circle. Like you have, I'm assuming you have the half circle window well, or do you have a rectangle?
It's a half circle.
So you're gonna do that, right? You're gonna get the wall, and then you're gonna get the pump.
Yeah.
You're in for it.
Yeah.
You got the
So-
homeowner special.
What's funny is that the other window well was fine. The other window well, no issues. So
The ground must have been just totally full.
the
of
gra-
water.
that
Yeah, you
was
got
the
to have
problem. The
someone come
ground
out and do a
was-
survey to the ground so you can figure out.
Yeah.
This
I mean,
reminds me. This reminds me of my favorite. If you follow on Twitter, H Bomber guy. He does like YouTube videos, like spanning like political stuff and stuff. And one of his most famous clips is when
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro is talking about like, he's like, well, say that in Florida, your house is underwater, gets flooded and is underwater. What's stopping the people from just selling the house and moving? And then it cuts to the guy and he's like, selling their house to whom, Ben? Fucking Aquaman. Anyway, good stuff.
Maybe
Well,
I should
I'm
get out
glad-
of here while the market is still hot.
Yeah.
Sell
I mean,
this.
didn't you say the schools are like in the shitter?
No,
Oh,
the schools are actually really good.
I
still.
thought,
Yeah.
didn't you say
No,
like,
he just said the school we went to
No, the
isn't
school
as
that
good
we
as it
went
used
to-
to
oh,
the school
gotcha.
we went to is still good. What I was saying to Chris
be.
was that
It was one of the
it went-
best schools in the country, Tom.
Yeah,
at
it
the
went
time.
down on the rankings, but it's still high on the
Gotcha,
rankings. I was
okay.
just saying that, like, the school district that we're in, that my kid will eventually go to, if it's still as good as it was today, is like 4th on Long Island, like 4th best on Long
There you
Island.
go.
So, and it's like nationally ranked one of the best. So, like, I'm not really worried about that whole. Plus, I will be here, and I feel like I'm a pretty good critical thinker and person who will like chastise her if she doesn't know shit. So she will know shit.
Are you
Or-
talking
or
about
maybe
that TikTok?
Or maybe
I
she's
sent?
just dumb. No, it's not just your TikTok, man. I've seen a lot
Ah.
of stuff on Reddit about and also Brit's a teacher. So
No
I get-
child left behind.
Yeah.
Really fucked everyone.
Mhm.
Just took a generation to actually see the effects.
Yeah.
And then, of course, everything else, underfunding. Just anyway, let's
Well,
not
no,
get
I
into
was
that
watching
bullshit.
an
Let's,
episode- well,
let's
hold on. I was watching an episode of Big Brother,
All right.
and the younger generation, somebody brought up Emily Dickinson, and they all had no idea who the fuck Emily Dickinson was. It was like, who the fuck's Emily Dickinson?
There's an Apple TV show about it.
fuck
there's
is that?
a show on Apple Plus.
Who the fuck is that? And then the older person, right, the boomer Gen X person, was like, fucking Emily Dickinson. How the fuck do you not know who Emily Dickinson is? And they're like, what is she, like an artist? It's like, you serious? Like, you don't know Emily Dickinson. So I'm hopeful that the school district will be
Ever
good to
heard of a
her.
little guy called Shakespeare?
Yeah, you ever heard of Shakespeare? So I'm hopeful the school district will be good to her, but if not, I'm just gonna, I'll tell her shit she needs to know.
I mean, she'll know a ton about the Romans.
I mean, look, I got books.
You got books.
You want
You
to
got
read
books.
about Rome? Read the books, bitch. So overall, the flood was not as bad.
Okay.
And the end of it is that I'm keeping this wetback, and now everything that I have, I bought metal shelves. Now everything is on shelves. So if we get 3 inches down here, if we get 3 inches, then the finish side is getting fucked, and then this whole area we have to move. But if it's like 2 inches. But if it's like
if
2
we
inches,
get 3 inches, well, if we get 3 inches, we have to move.
yeah. But if it's like it was last time,
Yeah.
nothing will get fucked. So
Okay.
it's just an easy wet vac situation. And I was thinking, like Chris said, like I'll probably fix it as best I can. And then if it happens again, I'll get some buckets, and I got a wet vac this time. So
Very nice.
Well,
That's it, baby.
what if you need to learn about it or teach your daughter about it? What are you doing? Same rules for Rome.
teach her about what?
Wetbacks, flooding.
Oh, wet vacs? We
Yeah.
got one, so I can demo.
So there's only rules for Rome. It's not
Hands-on.
for-
Hands-on experience.
Hands-on learning, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Tom, I don't want to,
Uh-oh. It sounds like we were just talking about Rome, which means it's time for Unranked's newest segment. There's no place like Rome.
Oh my god. Okay.
So
Yeah.
last week we talked about
Uh-huh.
Mario and the
Uh-huh.
influences of Rome on the character Mario. This is
Okay.
Alex. So this is a segment where we briefly discuss Roman influences in video games. So last week we spoke about Mario. We talked about his name.
Did you get your new
which is
book, by
derived
the way?
from,
Did you
from
get this book?
Marius.
I got this book. This is Insane Emperors, Sunken Cities, and Earthquake Machines. More frequently asked questions about the ancient Greeks and Romans.
Is this from Mrs.
No, not Miss
The-
Beard.
Oh,
This is
okay.
from
Because
Mr.
that's
This
I
is from Mr.
pre-ordered the-
Garrett Ryan.
oh, I don't have this. That sounds good.
This is good.
But let's
It's a
see if
good
he's
one.
got anything about this. So
All right,
last
go ahead.
week talked about Mario. Do you know about Gaius Marius, who is one of the namesakes of the modern day, name Mario? He was
I do know Gaius Marius. But
incredible
there's
man.
a lot of Gaius Mariuses, but
Incredible
okay.
man. 7-time counselor.
Okay. You mean
Unprecedented.
consul?
Yeah.
You talking
Anyway, here we go.
consul?
Well, Alex, we're talking about Rome in modern day. So anyway, we're gonna go.
Counselor? What the fuck are you
We're
talking
gonna go. We're gonna go from Mario to Wario.
Marius was pre-Empire. He was actually him and Sulla were pre-Empire, but dictators in their own special way.
Well, today we're gonna talk about Wario.
Okay.
Wario has a
Mhm.
great connection to the series that we all know as Rome in the video
Mhm.
game world.
Mhm.
Can anyone here guess what it is? How is Wario connected to Rome? It's not with his name. We already covered
Okay.
Bad Mario. We know this.
The mustache,
the
his pants.
the love of coin?
The
It's
love
gonna be.
of-
I mean, that's pretty good. But it's gonna be his video game, WarioWare, and one of the
Okay.
micro games is called Pompeii Back. And in
Pompeii
Pompeii
Back.
Back, it's a
Okay.
micro game
Yeah.
where the ancient Roman city of Pompeii,
Right.
when the volcano Mount Vesuvius erupts, a
Right.
giant boulder is shot out
Yeah.
of it, and you have to run away from the boulder.
What
now,
is
in
this,
the easy,
Sisyphus? Is this
you only
Sisyphus
have
who had
3
to roll
seconds.
the
It's a
boulder?
3-second micro game. So
Yeah.
on easy, boulder smaller than the man. That's what you see here. Normal,
Mhm.
same size. Hard, much larger than the man. So it gets much and much harder to successfully escape the rock. Just like many people in the city of Pompeii who were immediately burned alive by the pyroclastic cloud that engulfed them.
I've been there.
That's great. Why don't you tell us about it? This is a very short There's No Place Like Rome because it's based on a micro game. So there's a micro There's No Place Like Rome. Alex, tell us about your time at Pompeii.
I went with my dad and my stepmom, and I really wanted to learn about history. They didn't. Which is like, it's so funny. We went into one of the rooms, and there was a sign on. I'm not kidding. There was a sign, and it said "No Fumar." Okay, and there was a person, right, a body there,
Yeah.
and my dad went, "Oh, I think this is talking about the femur." So, yep,
And what does that mean, Alex?
it meant no smoking. But
See, I would have guessed that it meant no touching because people would
Oh
be
no,
like,
no fumar. It's this because it's the same in Spanish as well. So you'll see like if you go anywhere with
yeah,
Spanish
but he
signs.
thought we were looking at femurs, which was,
Well, no
all right.
femurs.
No, or whatever. I would. It was like, oh, this is about the.
You were
femurs.
looking at the lack of.
It's very good.
Jesus Christ, which is so funny. I've been.
It's funny
interested in
because they
Rome.
gave you a little visual
Yeah.
clue. They gave you
Yeah.
like a little visual aid of like
Uh-huh.
no smoke. Like, oh my god.
I've been interested in Pompeii since I was a kid. One of the first book reports I ever did in elementary school was about Pompeii. So to actually go was very cool, and they let you walk around the whole kit caboot, the whole city. So
wow.
I mean, there's no one left there to stop you. So
there's like Italian police, but they don't really do anything.
Very good. Should we talk about this week's Pokemon? Maybe.
It's the 386 Pokemon. We are done with the
96.
starters, which means we are now talking about a new set of Pokemon, another trio, a line of 3. Let's get into it. Guys, can you tell me who the 396th Pokemon is?
So it's probably a dog or a bird.
That's a great guess.
I don't know what is it.
Or a rat or like a
It's a bird. It's a pretty cool bird. But it is a basic bird.
Pick.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Slowly.
it's like Pidgey, but like worse.
Oh, I don't know if I'd say it's worse.
It's not as cool as Pidge.
Yeah, it's maybe not as cool as Pidgey.
It's not as cool as Pidge.
Among the birds, I put this in the middle. You know, because there's a bird every generation. I put this around the center. I think it's got a pretty cool look to it, especially by the final one. What is unbelievable about it?
What's unbelievable is that its name is Starly.
Yeah.
It's based on a young white-cheeked starling.
Mm-hmm.
And the name may be derived from starling. They just they literally didn't it's just a bird.
Well, it's not just a bird. If you take a look at it, it's
right,
definitely, especially when you look at the line of this, it's highly influenced by the emo punk scene. This is like the emo bird. So Star could be Star Power.
Well, no, it may be a name.
I mean, it may be Tuna, so it's not.
Yeah, it may be. So it also could be.
Yeah. So you're saying because this thing has a little flip in the hair, that
I mean, when
there's any kind of creative juices flowing on this Pokemon, because
when you see the final evolution of this thing,
but I'm not talking about
fucking.
I'm not talking about the final evolution. I'm talking about this bad boy. I'm talking about this.
Yeah,
and I think this. Is meh.
All right. Well, let's see what the Pokedex thinks about it. All right.
Yep. Tell me.
They flock around mountains and fields chasing after bug Pokemon.
Okay.
Their singing is noisy and annoying.
See, this is my problem. This is my problem always with the Pokemon.
The Pokedex called it annoying.
With the Pokedex entries and all this other, with the way they categorize it, with the way they say that it lives its life, right? It's like, oh, it's eating bug Pokemon. Is it? I feel like that's not like are we going to definitively kind of come out with, yes, there are real animals, or no, there are not?
It seems like they only alluded to real animals in the first games, and then that has gone away. So that being said, one of the best things about the newest Pokemon is they actually started to do, in a very small way, not in a great way or the best way that they should be doing it, but they started taking the things that they talk about in the Pokedex and finding ways to like put some of those parts of the characteristics into the game, which is kind of an interesting idea. I mean, they should actually be going much further with that, but we need someone else to make those games for that to happen. So, Tom, thoughts?
It's fine.
Yeah,
there are worse birds. I'll put it that way.
Fair
enough. I think that this is a field that is cluttered, and for the most part, I would say like maybe 70% of them I don't give a shit about. This is borderline. This is right on the cusp of like, okay.
Hot take.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
Yeah. So I got no beef. I got no beef.
No beef.
Yeah.
All right.
No beef.
All right. Great.
There it is.
Tuna, I do have to go back to the earlier topic. What is a 3D baby carrier?
A 3D baby carrier?
Yeah, you had one of the boxes in the background said like 3D baby carriage carrier, something like that.
I'll have to get back to you on that because I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. So I'll have to go look. That's what we were wondering. I don't know what the heck you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
right.
let me do some research.
The mystery remains.
Yeah, the mystery's gonna have to remain. I put it back on a shelf somewhere if I put it anywhere. So I'll have to look for that. I have no idea what you're talking about. 3D is not ringing any bells for me.
Okay.
Apologies. What I will say, I'll give you another update on. So I wasn't on last week to respond to my kid turning 2.
Oh, right.
So what's
They're
interesting?
Terrible
yeah. So what's interesting is she still has more. Like she's still going through like frustration tantrums, but She like I would say in the last like week or so, it's died down, and we're kind of getting back to the sweet kid that we had before she turned 2. And I will tell you right now, one of the best, a little sappy for you, but one of the best feelings happened. One of the best things happened today. My mom was taking her to the library. She kind of didn't want to go. She was really being really clingy to me. I got her in the car seat for my mom, and I said, "Okay, I love you." And she went, "I love you." So that was like, you wait for that. That's like a big thing. You're muted, Tom. So
sorry, that's the first time it's happened.
First time it's happened. She
awesome.
has responded to us saying, "Do you love grandma? Do you love mama?" And she'll say like, "Yes." But now she oh dude, it's so funny. So she's obsessed with Do Re Mi for The Sound of Music. Mm-hmm. She wants to hear it all the time. So for breakfast, I'll say, "Alexa, play Do Re Mi by Julie Andrews." And now I've done that so many times that she now says she can't say the X. So it's Alexa, play Do Re Mi. It's pretty cool that she's like, picked up on that and understands there's a thing that will play the song that she wants.
Does it recognize her doing that or no?
I think I can't remember if it did. If it was me or her this morning. I don't know. I'll check tomorrow to see when she says it.
Report back.
Great.
I'll report back. But yeah, other than that, work's been busy as fuck. But I'm able to get a couple rounds of virtual golf in, Walkabout. Mm-hmm. So that's really all I got.
We've collected all the balls.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Every one.
Nice. Yeah.
We've got 3 clubs left.
Yeah, 3 clubs. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. The exciting lives that we live are,
exciting.
Please. Yeah.
I mean, listen, they teased a new level. It looks like a haunted house kind of a thing,
baby.
They haven't
got my
quite
pumpkin ball ready to go.
The rumor, everyone in the Walkabout Discord is like, this has got to be the next evil lair, because the rumor was there's going to be 4 evil lairs, because evil lairs are like a pack. So Tom, you got to get all the DLC. You got to get. Well, now you have the
I've got my headset back, and I tell you what, because when I booted it up and I had that issue, I was like, you know what? I think I'm on the train. Like, I think I'm here for this.
Yeah.
At least on a semi-consistent basis, and then it was like unplayable. So
that sucks.
I've been champing at the bit, and I am glad to report that the VR unit that got sent back, that according to Sony, it just kind of showed up. I got an email saying like that it had been returned, but and it happened within days. Like, I literally shipped it out, and 4 days later, it was like,
that's
okay,
incredible.
Your thing's back. Considering the fact that you had looked it up, Chris, and people was reporting like 5 to 6 weeks. So I was like, I was almost certain that they just. I was almost certain that they just sent it back because it wasn't packaged correctly or whatever.
Which would be insane. It shows up and they're like, this isn't packaged right. Let's put it back in the mail.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because they're very the strict, the rules that when you open the box is like, you have to do it this way. And it makes it's kind of like how the wording on the PS5, if you unplug it without powering it off and you put it back in, it's like, don't you dare fucking shut us down.
But Tom, you have to understand, as someone who once worked at the Apple Store, that wording is there because if they don't make it really specific, people will just throw it in a fucking empty box and send it like jackasses, because people are animals. I worked at the Genius Bar once. The things I have seen that people do with expensive technology is just, it's appalling. I remember this one computer that came in and it was just like, the guy was like, oh, I think it might have got wet. And we were like, do you know what got in this? Like, do you know what it was? And they always lie. And it was filled with lube. They always just, lube. Yup, lube. Why? Which was honestly worse than like the roaches or the cigarette like dust or weirdly like popcorn, which makes you think like, because it's like a fully popped popcorn kernel. So, you're guessing like, oh, a kernel got in under a key and then got hot from the computer and then popped inside of it. Because there's no way, unless they took it apart and shoved it in there, for that to even happen.
That's a good point. Interesting. Well, anyway, so we just got back to the apartment today. This is our first time back since we left. So very excited to and
You seem to be looking better, feeling better.
I'll tell you this, feeling better, but still not 100%. And it was this round of COVID was rougher than my first round. It might have been the viral load, but
you got a big load
since the last podcast we did. I kind of sustained that level of sickness through the weekend, and it kind of ebbed and flowed, but it didn't like progressively get better. I think like Friday morning or Saturday morning, I woke up and I was like, I am 100%. And like within an hour, I was like dying again. And then this is going to be gross, but I'd been coughing the whole time. And then the other day, like a lot of my symptoms had subsided, but I still had the cough. But instead of it being like a dry cough, like I woke up and my eyes were like glued shut from like sleep.
Sure.
Like glued shut. I had to like rip it off to open them. It was insane. I was like, oh my God, did I get pink eye or something? But my eyes were fine.
That is a thing with the current strain of COVID. It gives you pink eye like symptoms. Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
So I had that one morning and then I was just like coughing up phlegm. And so like now I'm fine, but I still have a little bit of a cough and it's not a dry cough. So it's been very weird. Unfortunately, both of my parents who were able to completely avoid COVID up until this point both had it. My mom had it the worst of all of us, which really sucked, but she's doing better.
I'm kind of surprised you guys went to your parents and didn't just go home.
Well, we came back, right?
Yeah.
And we had gone to my folks going to LA because we dropped the pets off with them. So we had to come back to pick them up. Sure. And then we spent the first day I'm not gonna lie to you, Chris and Tuna. Brooke tells me, can you guys hear me right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Brooke tells me she like 4 or 5 days into me having symptoms, she goes, oh yeah, my worst day was the last day we're in LA. I was like, excuse me? You're what? You're telling me you're telling me you had symptoms on the last day we're in LA and you didn't tell me? Because I didn't have symptoms until 2 days after we got back. I was kind of feeling rough the first night we were back, and I was like, it might be COVID, but it might just be me feeling like worn down from the trip and everything.
Right.
And then the next morning I woke up and I was like, I need to take a test. Like, and lo and behold, it was. But yeah, we were talking about it and she was like, yeah, she's like, because she had it too, and I was feeling really bad, and she was like feeling like semi bad. But yeah, she was like, she was like, my worst day was our last day in LA. I was like, that would have been really useful information to have. So anyway, it is what it is.
Somehow Teresa and I didn't get it.
I can't believe that. I can't believe Matt didn't get it.
Yeah,
because he was
maybe we already had it.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, I'm nearly at 100%. Still got a little bit of lingering things here and there, but
that new ink looks good. It looks fresh.
It does. It looks great.
Tom got that while he was here.
Brooke and I both got tats, and hers looks great. And now she is like trying to get a sleeve. She's like all in on getting a full sleeve, and I was like, all right. So here we go.
You know what Teresa said after? I meant to tell you this. Oh shit! Something is going on with this cable. Whenever I touch this cable, it makes my screen go out. And this cable is connected to my microphone. So there must be some kind of charge that's happening here.
Interesting, yeah.
I'm having issues with static.
Okay.
Listen, a couple of have you ever gotten static shock in your ear?
Yeah. Oh, in my ear? No.
Yeah,
no.
from
are you
from
telling us
earphones.
Is this your origin story for how you got
this is
superpowers?
very close to Carl Pilkington.
So this has happened to me a couple times before in the past, like sitting on a couch when I had like the plugged-in earphones, right? Like I stood up and like I got, like an electric discharge, but it went through, the connection point of the earphones. My ears hurt like a bitch. But a couple of times it's happened while I was playing VR in my garage, because the air is pretty dry here, and I have those foam mats, and I'm playing. If I don't play with my shoes on, I will get a static discharge, especially if I sit down, which sometimes I'll just sit down on the mat, depending on the game I'm playing. Oh my God, anytime I touch this, it happens.
Interesting.
So what I'm worried about, and now I'm going to get, I think, wireless headphones for my VR. It happened to me twice yesterday. I was playing the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge game, which I beat. Fantastic. Finally got to use the lightsaber. Very fucking cool.
Very nice. I didn't know
very
that
cool.
they had that. Very cool.
It's great. A lot of fun.
Cool.
I'm sitting on the ground. I stand up. Fucking electric discharge, static discharge, both ears, hurt like a motherfucker. VR screen just goes black, comes back on. Sound does not work. I had to unplug the headphones, plug them back in. Tom, this happened 2 more times.
Unbelievable.
I'm worried it's going to fry my fucking VR system. So I think I'm going to get those wireless, or the Pulse earphones. Are those wireless, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to get the wireless Pulse earphones because it's going to break my headset if I don't.
That's amazing. Interesting.
It's nuts. Alex, the static shock turned off my PSVR 2 and killed the sound on my headphones until I unplugged them and plugged them back in. It happened 3 times.
Why is there so
My
much
screen
static
went
electricity
black.
going on there?
Because I'm wearing socks, walking on foam pads in a dry garage. And so it just, I don't know. Fucking sucks. I beat Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. Let me tell you.
Very nice.
Such a fucking fun game.
Hell
Such
yeah,
a
dude.
great game.
You were playing this on Switch Online or on the analog?
No, I played this on the Analog Pocket.
Very
I
nice.
played a lot of it through the dock on the TV. And then a
very
lot
nice.
off the, probably like half of it on the TV, half of it in bed is how I played that game.
Hell yeah, brother.
It's great. Highly recommend it. Tuna, the next time you're like, I could go for an old school classic 2D Zelda. Is that in that's in the Game Boy Switch Online? Minish Cap?
I don't know.
Well, if it is, that's where you want to do it.
Oh
Sorry.
Minish Cap is Switch Online.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
It's very good.
They have pretty much every Zelda game except for, like, you can play because of ports and then re-releases and like Switch Online and stuff. There's only like a few Zelda games that you cannot play.
But then you should just play this on your Switch. It's really good. It's a lot of fun. It's the kind of Zelda games you want to play. I would put it right around the center of maybe like the 2D top-down games. I mean, a lot of those games are really tight. They're really well made. I don't know if any of them are actually like bad. But I had a lot of fun with it. It was cool. There's no Master Sword. It's like an older game. So it has the white sword, which is like something that's like, from older Zelda games, which is cool. And you like upgrade it, and there's like elemental upgrades, and you can like fly and like there's all this cool shit. And it's not a Ganon game. It's Vati, the sorcerer. So it's pretty cool. It's a really fun time. I kind of wish I'd played it on the GBA, but it was cool to, play this game like probably 20 years later now. For the first time.
I'm glad you like stuck with it. I have a tough time with older time. Like I get very excited to like go back and experience stuff, but obviously it can be a little tough kind of getting stuck into something when it feels dated. So I'm happy to hear that you were able to stick with it. That's great.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. So there's that. So did you guys watch Survivor last night?
I did.
Haven't watched it yet, unfortunately.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, because we don't do live. We do it the next day.
I didn't watch it live either.
What'd you do?
You didn't?
No.
How'd you not watch it live?
Because...
It's not available.
Whoa. Because first of all, YouTube TV, if I favorite it, it gets recorded.
Okay.
So I can watch it later. And number 2, it was Britt's birthday. We watched a scary movie, Smile.
How was that?
It was pretty good.
Yeah, had a good time with it. Okay.
Good times. I mean, in classic fashion, she fell asleep before the end and didn't and then woke up at the
I
end.
didn't see how they're all smiling.
Well, no, she saw the very end and was like, "Wait a minute, what?" And I was like, "Yeah, well, sorry."
My favorite move with that when that happens with T, Alex, if it's something I really don't want to rewatch now because she fell asleep, is I will make sure to wake her up to see the end, because they'll be like, "This isn't something I want to see again." Because that happened the other night with some Jason Segel movie, and I was like, "I don't need to rewatch this again."
Well, can't she just watch it on her own
though? Yeah, but she works a lot, so a lot of her TV time is when we get to hang out. So if she wants to watch it, then I'll probably have to see it.
Right. I'm gonna try and go see The Creator this weekend.
Ooh, I'm going tomorrow.
But I also want to watch on Hulu now that Spooky Month. There's this new alien abduction movie that's on Hulu that people are raving about. Called it's called Abduction is what I wrote. No One Will Save You. It's called No One Will Save You. It came out end of September.
This is cool.
And everyone, it's one of those where it's like progressively more and more people are like, oh my god, just watch this. One of the most fun like alien abduction movies I've ever seen. So I'm pitching that for this weekend as well. Did either of you watch Castlevania, the animated Netflix show?
It was fucking great.
Did you know that the follow-up show came out?
You'd like it a lot. It's really good.
Oh, you would, Tuna. You would love Castlevania.
I didn't know the follow-up came out.
So the follow-up came out. It's called Castlevania Nocturne. It's not featuring any of the characters from the first batch of seasons. This is following Richter Belmont. It's set during the French Revolution, hundreds of years.
Oh, hell yeah. I'll watch it.
After the first show. Chris, not only is it as good as the first show, it might actually even be better. I
prefer Richter and Smash, so I believe it.
I don't think that well, the other one is Simon, who we haven't seen yet. Trevor is not in Smash, but the story I think is a little bit more engaging. I don't think the action tops what we got in the first show yet, but again, that show built up the action, right? Like the spectacle of it all. Me and Brooke like binged it while we were sick, basically. Phenomenal.
Awesome.
Yeah. On Netflix.
Great.
Definitely if you're out there and you're listening and you haven't watched any of Castlevania, like go watch the first series and then check out Nocturne. And it definitely is set up for there to be more seasons of this iteration of the timeline. And honestly, Netflix's animation is kind of crushing it. They dropped teasers for their Scott Pilgrim animated show, which looks amazing. They're doing the team that does Castlevania is doing a Devil May Cry animated show as well. That looks incredible. So, and obviously they have their Cyberpunk show, which is really good. So, yeah, good stuff. And then the only other thing I've really done is I've been playing Assassin's Creed Mirage. Was capping stuff for work. So if you go to GameSpot, all of the gameplay and there's a tips and tricks video. If you're listening now, unless you're listening live, i.e. tomorrow, Friday, there'll be a tips and tricks video that I wrote and put up. Here's the thing about Assassin's Creed Mirage. It does what it says on the tin. It takes the trappings of the modern games, strips them down, and kind of remixes them into something similar to one of the early Assassin's Creed games. And on paper, like initially that sounds great, but it really just is a stripped down version of these more modern RPG games. And they've taken some of the old systems and they just kind of smashed them together without thinking of like a way to make that, marry them cleanly and make it fun. It's honestly, its biggest crime is that it's dull as hell. Because what makes the modern gameplay fun is not the stealth stuff. It is all of the action stuff. And this has such a focus on stealth, but the enemy AI is just as stupid as the modern games. So you're having to sneak around because when you get into full combat, you don't have all of the fun. You know, like in Valhalla and Odyssey, you had those like special moves that you could map to buttons and stuff, and it was really fun to get stuck into fights. You don't have any of that in this. It really is just like sneak, hidden blade. But the enemy AI is so fucking stupid that you can just easily just mow through them. I'll say the highlight of the game is the city of Baghdad is incredible. It's really fun to be back in a more traditional Assassin's Creed environment and be able to, you know, free run and parkour without having these huge swaths of empty space. And it feels so densely packed. It's really well done. And the music in the game is maybe, I think, my favorite in the entire franchise. It really like kind of left a mark. But everything else, like the story, is a wet blanket. It's only really I mean, both of you have played Valhalla, so I think you'll get a bit more out of it because you know where Basim's story goes. But taking it as it is, it really does feel like the first chapter of something. And like his story in Valhalla is like the interesting stuff. And this is just like an explainer of like, here's how he joins the Creed. And this is how he finds out about the stuff around him, right? That we learn about in Valhalla.
This
and then
doesn't
it kind of
sound
ends.
like a game I need to play.
Absolutely. 100% can fucking skip this game.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah, it does, especially because like the interesting stuff about this character and his story is in a game you've already played and beat. So there's no reason to jump in for the story. There's no reason to jump in for the gameplay. Yeah, I mean, if it was on Game Pass, maybe, but yeah, it's like buy. And the fucking bullshit thing that they've done with this fucking game, they've made it cheaper, right? It's $50 instead of $60. But the deluxe edition,
I mean, aren't games 70 now? I thought new gen games were 70.
First party titles, yes. Third party titles, it's kind of like here and there. Like some places are charging 70, some places are charging 60. So yes, it's either a $10 or a $20 discount depending on how you're looking at it. But the deluxe edition of this fucking game includes weapons that includes weapons that are OP as fuck. When you parry, you slow down time. And it's the only way to have fun with the combat in the game. Every other weapon is like, oh, every fifth hit, get a little health back. Like, none of them are like.
It sounds like Tom's trying to tell us the combat blows and it's not really a fun game to play.
Not
yeah,
fun. Anyway,
it sounds like it's just not a fun game to play. Yeah. That's kind of Tom is, well, it was nice to have Tom with us while we had him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
As he dies.
Yeah. What is that? It would be really awkward now if he did, Alex. You know?
Yeah.
I'd have to blame you for it. It's like, why'd you have to come and say that? So, while we're here, Alex.
Yes.
I'm eating some za.
Yes.
How's the homemade za?
It's really good. The 3-day cold ferment really made all the difference.
Yeah.
I also was able to get my hands on some Grande brand mozzarella cheese.
Okay.
So that was incredible. It was really good. It really also made
where'd
the
you
difference.
source it?
Where did I get it from? There's I don't know if I'm saying this right. I think I'm saying it right, but Sanzoni Market in Garden City on Long Island.
Oh, you can't just order it online?
You can. It's very expensive, and they highly recommend putting it in a chilled container to ship it. So
of course. Yeah.
It's that you're gonna run yourself over $100 to get it. So I was like, well, I'm not doing that. So.
Yeah, no, that would be quite the expense. Hey guys, you want to see this week's latest t-shirt?
I would.
Sure.
I feel pretty strongly when I say this is going to be Tuna's first shirt purchase. Oh, it's Tono's Tortas. That's right. Tuna's Pies. It's the Tuna branded pizza shirt. We've got the recipe he just told us about on the back. and we've got the logo on the front for Tuna's Tortas. So you can
Oh
get
my God.
your own Tuna's Tortas in a variety of colors.
You got to buy that.
That says
too.
Tonos.
Sorry, Tonos. It's in Italian. Tuna in Italian is
Okay.
Tono.
Yeah, but I was
and
going to say
torta
you're
is
saying
pie.
yeah.
Tono's Tortas.
That's a great shirt. Tuna, you need one of those. Is the did you get the final thing done for the
No. We went with this week because that is taking a really long time. I honestly wish I never came up with that idea. It's way too much work for a gag. So that's why this week we have Tono's Torta.
I love
T-shirt.
All right.
Tono's Torta t-shirt. Get your, if you want the recipe to make Alex's pizza, it's listed here.
You got to pay
It's got
for
the
it.
instructions.
You got to pay for it.
Yeah, you gotta buy. But then you
Mhm.
too can make it. I think it's a great logo for you.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get it on an apron and you can wear that when you make pizza. That would be pretty good. All right. Well, I imagine we'll be talking about like actual good games soon with stuff like Spider-Man coming out and not talking about what sound like bad games like Assassin's Creed Mirage. But Tom, is there any kind of news that needs to be discussed?
Yeah, so there was Call of Duty Next today, which kind of showed off the Modern Warfare 3 that game that's coming out, which is just kind of like Modern Warfare 2 DLC repackaged. I'm very not excited for this because of everything in the behind the scenes with how they've handled this game, but it is coming. There will be a new Warzone map called Urzikstan. It seems to be it's on the eastern border of the Black Sea. Urzikstan plays an important role in the Modern Warfare series, bordering the Republic of Adal, the location of Call of Duty's Warzone's Al Mazrah map. Urzikstan has only recently become out from under the thumb. So there's a new map for Urzikstan for Call of Duty Warzone.
I just care about the campaign. The campaign in that last game was so fucking good, Tom. That was the whole reason I got that game. That campaign was really fun. I might pick this up later, used. Maybe I'll buy a used copy of this game and get a disc so I can just play the campaign and be done with it.
That might be the way to go. Yeah. I mean, everything that was shown off today was all multiplayer stuff. They showed off the zombies. It showed off how that they have a big focus with this game on like gun customization and loadout customization. Seems to be the way that they're kind of trying to pitch.
Remember
this
when they
as a
used
new
to have
title?
to just make like 12 compelling weapons instead of just being like, everything will be suited perfectly to your needs, so everyone will be happy. Just make a game that's fun.
And I don't know if you guys know this. You guys may not know this, but we found this out kind of recently. But for this game, at launch, there are no new, I'm pretty sure there are no new multiplayer maps. All of the maps are remakes of the original Modern Warfare 2 maps. So this is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, the second one ever made. This is the second Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. It will have no new maps. It will only have remakes of the first Modern Warfare 2's maps. You get that, Tuna? Don't know? Makes sense to you? Don't know?
Yep.
There you go. So, yes, that was a big thing that was unveiled today. Other than that, I don't think we really have too much news. Forza Motorsport reviews came out. That game, I think, is going into early access tomorrow, coming out next week. Maybe tide you over until it'll be on Game Pass, so you can go check that out. It seems Telltale, the new Telltale games after the last one shut down, has seemingly laid off most of its staff, which really sucks. Continuing a huge trend in the industry of a bunch of layoffs recently. Nothing else really with the news this week, I would say. Nothing huge.
Great. Then I think we jump into some mail. Email it on rankpodcast.com or call into 805-738-8692. That's 805-738-8692. Or you could just type in Retunia if you know how to spell. If you know how to go to the phone and type in the numbers, you can spell and you can get some more fun sometimes. And go to the Discord. It's in the show notes. Questions for the pod. And I think that's enough stalling so that I could get to this voicemail and hit play.
Hey, Unranked Crew, this is Kill Care Bears or Justin. I was just calling because I know I'm probably super late to the party here, but just in case you guys haven't played it yet, I highly recommend Ghost Runner. It is so fun. It's like a first-person ninja simulator, but you can slow down time, and it's hardcore. So it's one hit, you die, you have to restart, and it is crazy. The movement in the game is insane. You're just zipping around, slowing down time, going around enemies, striking them from the back. It is so fun. And if you've never played it before, I highly recommend it. It might still be on sale. That's why I got it. And number 2 is coming out soon. So if you love it, then there's another one coming in a month or so. So just throwing it out there. Maybe you've already played it. Maybe everyone's already played it. I don't know, but I just thought I'd throw it out there. So other than that, stay in ranked. Suck it.
All right. What was the name of the game? I didn't hear what he said the very first thing.
Ghost Runner.
Ghost Runner. Yeah, okay. Because I was thinking it sounded like Vampire Survivor.
Oh, it's nothing like, because it's first person.
I got it. Yeah.
It's very good.
It's a good game. Yeah,
I remember you told me about it, I think, Tom. When
I
it came out.
played through the first one. It's a very short game. I believe it's either on Game Pass or it's on PS Plus.
Yeah.
The first one. The second one is coming out soon. There's a free demo out for the second one as well. I played the demo. There was nothing in the demo that seemed different from the first game. It was literally picking up moments after the first game ended, which was cool.
Oh, that is cool.
I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's such a tight game, and like you said, it's one hit, one kill, and you don't have any guns. It's first person, but you just have a samurai sword, and you have to
remind me a bit of Boomerang X.
Yeah, and did you see that the studio had to shut down for Boomerang X? That's actually another bit of news this week. They couldn't secure funding for their next game.
Oh, that was a really fun game. I played through that. That was a really good time.
Popular game too. It sold a ton of copies. The state of the industry is not great. Anyway, Ghost Runner, cool game. Yep, Kill Care Bears really on there. I would say though, the story is kind of paper thin. It's all about the gameplay. So if you want, you don't really need. I don't think you're going to need to play the first one if you want to just jump into 2. 2 seems to have motorcycles. The big thing seems to be there's vehicular combat, which is crazy because it's already a very fast.
Put it in VR. He gets so sick.
Oh my god! Yeah. I wonder.
It would not work.
I would love to see if they could make it work, but yeah, I would be curious.
I don't think that would work. I don't think that's gonna be good for anybody. Speaking of news, Tuna, Animal Crossing Lego collab coming. They showed off the minifigs. The minifigs look great. They did. I really appreciate when they do the effort to not just do the painted yellow heads and actually give them custom heads. So the minifigs looked really good. They didn't show off the sets, but I believe there's 6 sets is what was mentioned. So we'll be seeing. I imagine there'll probably be one good strong set, and the others will be very small things. But who knows? I'm excited for that.
I wonder if it'll have any. No, probably not, because they are regular minifigs. I was going to say if it'll have any kind of interactivity,
or like Mario.
Maybe it'll have something in the game, you can import your sets into.
Probably not. It's probably. I mean, it's going to have the different shops and stuff like that.
Yes.
And that sounds awesome. I'll get I'll get what was the main building?
Town Hall.
Yeah, I'll get the town hall with Isabel and stuff. That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
They're gonna fuck you on the minifigs. They're gonna put one good one in each set, so you have to buy every set.
Probably.
You'll get Tom Nook in the town hall, but Are they going to package Isabella and Tom? I mean, they would have to, right? Because she works in the town hall. Anyway,
No, they have
we
to
shall
put them in
see.
separate ones so that you have to
Yeah.
buy two things.
Yeah, the town hall expansion.
That's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's actually
Oh my
funny you
God.
mentioned that because I was rummaging while I was home. I was rummaging through some old boxes, and I found all of the Simpsons Lego minifigs that they came out with in like the mid 2010s. And they were so I was like, damn, they really put a lot of effort into these. This isn't just like, this looks like Homer. It doesn't look like a Legoized version of him. So yeah, cool. Very cool. Excited to see what they come out with that.
So we got some from the Discord. The first came in from Narcus. What is your favorite game in the Halo series and why?
Halo. Ooh. Oh man.
I'm gonna
What
go
is
with
my-
Halo the Master Chief Collection. No.
Yeah, Halo Master Chief Collection for sure. All right, well, I'll tell you right now, bud. Halo 4, 5, Infinite out. No
Yeah,
way.
Of course.
Halo 1 out.
Yeah, it's 2 or 3.
It's between whoa. It's between 2, 3, ODST, and Reach.
I can't believe you include Reach, which has probably the worst multiplayer of all games.
It did, but we still played it a lot, and I really
That's because
liked
we
the
didn't have
story
anything
of
else to
Reach.
play.
That's true. I did like the story of Reach, though. I thought the campaign was really good.
Yeah, the campaign was very good.
The campaign was fantastic. All right, but in all honesty, what did we play the most? Halo 3 is probably what we ended up playing the most. Halo 2 is a close is up there though.
You may have played 2 more than 3 because you didn't
Yeah.
you didn't even get 3 for a long time because of school.
Yeah, that's
Whereas with Halo
true.
2, you weren't in college, we were in high school, and we were literally
Playing all the
playing
time.
Halo sometimes like 16 hours in a day. It was like you were waking up and playing
waking
Halo,
up, play Halo.
just playing until you fell asleep. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of times you literally
Oh.
fell asleep playing Halo, where like you
Yep.
would just stop moving and I'd hear you
Yeah.
snoring in the game.
Yeah. It's a great game. It's a great game. It's a great game.
It was unbelievable.
Love it. Halo 2.
I'd
I'm
put
going
3.
with Halo 2. Going with 2.
I'm going with 3. It's my
Going with
favorite
2.
campaign. It's not necessarily the best story. Like Reach is probably the best story in the campaign, but I think it's the most fun campaign because that's the one where like they have the most vehicle combat, it has the biggest fights, it has like those giant set pieces. It's just an unbelievably good time. And then the multiplayer. I think the multiplayer is perfect in 3. It's got, it's 2 was great, but it was still kind of limited by the original Xbox hardware. And Halo 3 being on the 360, I think, was really what made it better for me.
All right.
Tom?
Yeah, as someone that has no attachment to like the multiplayer, Reach is going to be my pick. It has the great thing about Reach is it really is like so self-contained. Like you could just play.
All right, so
You
we're
could
going to
just
move on
play
to another
Reach.
question. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're going to move on to another question while Tom collects himself. Brian the Brain. Tuna, he's got a question for you specifically.
Yeah.
Are you going to watch The Golden Bachelor? Explain why or why not. It's a game-ish, so I think it's relevant.
I am watching The Golden Bachelor. I just watched the second episode tonight. It's a fantastic show. It's extremely
Can you explain what it is?
endearing. There's a 70-something-year-old man who lost his wife, passed away, but he is now looking for new love in his old age. And the contestants, the women, some are in the same boat. They've lost their
like Golden
husbands.
Girls.
Yeah, it's an old dude. It's old.
Got it. I
So
knew nothing about it.
I
other
didn't
than the
realize.
name.
Oh, okay.
That's why I asked.
So,
You can explain.
all right. So it's so much more endearing, and it's so much better. I like it better than the original, the real Bachelor. It's a refreshing. I hate that word, but it's a refreshing take on the Bachelor because they're honestly more mature, at least for now. They're more mature, and they are actually in this for the right reasons,
Right?
And it's
it's also one of those things where it's like, it's funny. I've seen previews for it. Firstly, one preview: this dude making out with everyone. He is just making out with everyone.
He's macking left and right.
This is what I'm saying. Like everyone's all nice and everything, like they're all mature and everything.
Yeah.
But once like we get toward the end and he's
I'm
told
sure,
a bunch
yeah.
of women that he loves them, like
Yeah.
all hell is about to
Oh,
break loose.
there is. I can't believe how much drama they packed into the minute 30 that was that trailer.
Yeah.
Brooke is actually watching it too, and she's really enjoying it, and is not like
It's
a
great.
bachelor person. But it's one of those things where it's like all of these people, for the most part, have experienced like a sincere, long-lasting love already, versus like this being their journey into it, right? So there is like a maturity level there. They know what they want, like all this stuff. And then secondly, they're all in or entering the twilight years of their life.
Yep.
So it's not like they're making a commitment that is like, oh my God, I got to spend the next 60 years with this person. It's like no, like I'm
5 left.
I'm trying to find someone who I can enjoy these final years. So there is kind of like in I think a very nice way, kind of it can be a little bit looser. It doesn't have to be, oh, I need to find the love of my life, because this guy already had it, right? Like he already had someone that he lived with.
And a lot of the women already say that as well. They've lost their loves of their life.
Yeah. So the kind of like, because that's the thing about all this stuff. And I sent you clips from like Love Is Blind, and I was like, oh my God, this is what this is
Love
how
Is Blind.
What a man! I watch more than 2 seconds of these clips. So that's the thing that always stresses me out with these shows, is that they are very like I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? But there's kind of none of that with this. So I might even jump into it myself. We'll see.
That's great. Love it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Slater is here live watching with us. Thank you very much, Slater. He told me I need to plug my retro refurbishment stuff. Thank you for reminding me on that.
Oh yeah.
He's trying to track down his original Game Boy. Very nice. Yeah. So I am starting to collect some retro consoles.
Just because I showed you those videos that I watch.
So
this is something I'm gonna do at some point, but I've decided not to pick up new hobbies until I'm like have time for it. So I find it very funny you're doing this.
So here's what happened. I've been wanting to do it for a while. I actually bought some supplies from Home Depot, just like hydrogen peroxide in a big batch, and like gloves and all this stuff. So I've slowly been building up toward it, and Brooke has a few pieces that like she has an NES and an N64 that need a little bit of love. Here I have a couple of like my PS2 Slim needs some love. So I've been wanting to do it for a while, and I've been like slowly working up to it. But it was that thing of, we were watching while we were at Chris's, we would just throw on in the background sometimes like this guy cleaning old Game Boys and repairing.
It's one of my favorite channels.
It's
I
so
love
good.
restorations.
But then what got me is that Chris. So I logged into my YouTube account while I was at Chris's, which is an ad-free experience, and Chris is continuing to enjoy that ad-free experience.
I feel like I'm giving you a good experience by improving your algorithm.
You're improving my. Here's the thing: it's not necessarily I feel like my algorithm's improving, but it is more diverse.
It was like just video game and movie like channels. That was like all it was. And then you had the one news politics channel. That was
I had like Hassan, and then I had like kind of a lot of kind of funny stuff, and all that stuff is very accessible for me to find. I don't. That's the thing, is my algorithm I don't really touch, because I always am really kind of looking. I never like kind of surf on YouTube. I always go there looking for something that I'm subscribed to. So it is nice, and now that I'm also into Taskmaster, I'm getting the Taskmaster content as well, so it's there.
Yeah, tomorrow.
So it is.
So
yeah, it is an improvement. I would say it is an improvement. But one of the shows that is now cropped up in my algorithm is and I can't wait for you guys to be like, oh yeah, this guy is canceled or whatever, because he like comes from the middle of the country. A Chase After the Right Price is a YouTube channel. This is a guy who's like a collector. He's been collecting for forever. His whole business is like reselling and collecting and stuff. So during the night when I was having COVID, where I couldn't sleep and I was like coughing and I was like, I can't sleep, I would just go on YouTube, and his first video showed up, and he was like, I bought every colored Game Boy or every version of the Game Boy Color at a convention in one shot. Like he went to all of the things and bought every version you can get. So I was like, okay, let me look at this one. And then that convention had a series of videos where he was like, I went and bought the whole table at this other place. And then another one was like, I spent $50K on this one, whatever. So I kind of got super into that and like him showing off his collection. And so I just have been like salivating to jump into this now.
Yeah.
So, but the part of it is I don't want to buy stuff that is 100% ready to go, cleaned, like top price. I want to get stuff that is maybe a little bit rough around the edges, needs some cleaning, might need some replacements and fixing, because like the tinkering is kind of a part of the reason I'm jumping into it as well. And so actually, I did go to a retro gaming store near my parents, and I picked up an SNES and an original PlayStation that were both that they need to have their lasers replaced. I picked those up for $20. They need to be cleaned and like restored, but they are in pretty good condition. And I picked up some retro games because they were having like a sale there as well, so that was cool. So that's what's happening. If you do have any old consoles or handhelds that you are looking to that are not working or in rough shape and you would like to sell them, like please join the Discord and DM me about it. I actually have a lot more than I thought. Like I found a DS Lite when I was at my parents'. I found a 3DS XL at my parents' as well. So, and then the PS2 Slim, and then Brooke actually has a Game Boy Color. I'm not trying to go crazy. I'm not trying to get like every Game Boy Color and, you know, all this stuff. Just one of each. And then the other kind of the nail in the coffin as well is like just the continuing decline of like our ownership over the things that we own. And like, oh, these digital stores don't exist anymore. And this game, you can't buy it even digitally anymore. And so there's kind of like this, the state of the gaming industry has also kind of been this element where I'm like, this stuff, gaming is obviously like so important to me. Like I would like to have a little slice of preservation. So there we go. That's what that is.
We should have Andy, who you guys have met. He used to be on a show called The Coin Boys.
Yeah,
he now is
we
the
had
director.
him on the pod.
We should have him back again. He's the director of gaming over at Stand Up to Cancer. He does like all their gaming outreach and
that's awesome.
stuff with like influencers. They do a lot of stuff with like streams. He is a big retro guy. He's a collector. He has a great collection. You should check him out on TikTok. He's Love Retro, by the way. He does like streams and he does retro stuff. He's got like CRT setups and everything. It's great. He's I reached out to him when I ordered the Analog Pocket and I was like, where do I go and how do I make sure I'm getting real carts? Because the Alex, you wouldn't believe how annoying now it is because people are making reproduction carts and they're fake. They're not the actual game carts. So it's just someone loads a ROM onto it and it's playable, but it's not actually the game. And so then there could be issues and it's like kind of bullshit, but it's hard to, unless you really know what you're doing, you're very easily just going to buy some cheap ripoff that's also like severely overpriced.
Right.
So he gave me that info, which is very cool. Okay. There's one more and then we're going to get the hell out of here. If you were a Padawan, this is from Narcus once again. If you were a Padawan, who would you want your Jedi Master to be? And then there's a second part, but let's answer this.
Yeah. I already have mine because I saw this.
Well, let's go with Alex first.
Okay, Tuna.
Well, I don't know. I didn't know he was going to be Darth Vader, so Anakin.
You know what? A lot of people don't care about the fact that there's that great clip. I don't know what it's originally from, but the meme of the guys being like, "He's the greatest guy around."
Yes.
What about all the murders? Yeah. What murder?
What murders? What are you talking about? Yeah,
it's so fucking funny. Anakin's a great choice, I gotta say.
His Padawan, Ahsoka Tano, which is what the TV show is about. It centers around his Padawan. So she's great. So that's a good choice. It's a very good choice. Tomas?
just want to put it out there, not familiar with a lot of the expanded canon and all this stuff. So we're sticking with the known ones. I think it has to be Qui-Gon. And I think that a lot of what the prequels are about is like the only person who could have taught Anakin and had it go right was Qui-Gon, and because we lost Qui-Gon, it all went to shit.
Yeah, that's what the Duel of Fates was. Yeah.
So, I didn't think about that.
Oh no, that is canonically. It's called the Duel of Fates. That song, and it plays during the fight between Qui-Gon and Darth Maul, because canonically, it's whoever wins this fight is going to win the Sith or the Jedi. Yeah, that was the Duel of Fates.
I love that song. I think about it like people think about the Roman Empire. I think about it daily. It's
amazing.
I'll just be walking around and go like I'll just do that.
It really is one of the best songs.
I've never thought about why it's called that. So there we go. That's amazing. So I think it has to be Qui-Gon because he was the only Jedi to kind of see, or at least again from what I'm aware, at least, and in the modern era. All right, you fucking nerds. He was the only one to kind of see through the bullshit and kind of, but also understand the good intentions of the Jedi and why there needed to be some kind of peacekeeping task force and why the Jedi need to exist. And did he probably go about it in the right way? Maybe not. But again, he was working under a completely, well, maybe not completely, but a somewhat at least inept and old infrastructure that he kind of was bloated. Yeah. So Qui-Gon. I'm
gonna go with Darth Tyrannus, which is basically the slightly meaner version of Qui-Gon Jinn.
Right. So which is Count Dooku, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Who was a Jedi and he was trained.
He was Qui-Gon's.
Yes, he was Qui-Gon's master.
Yes.
And he's a little bit dark, but I think in some ways there's a lot of things that Qui-Gon believes which he wouldn't if it wasn't for him.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go with Darth Tyrannus. I think he's pretty badass. At first I was about to say Yoda, and then I'm like, you know what?
No,
Yoda's a fucking chump. Yoda's a fucking
chump.
Yeah.
He always gets to the point way too late. He always realizes like all of this shit way too late.
Yeah. Oh, I take it all back. Kanan Jarrus.
Okay.
From Rebels, who is referenced in Ahsoka. He's a fucking First of all, my man gets blinded and he sees with the Force, and it's fucking badass. He is very powerful, and he trains Ezra, and Ezra becomes one of the coolest fucking Jedi in all of Star Wars. So, yes, Kanan. Maybe would be fucking awesome because he's got a bit of Qui-Gon in him too.
Maybe Kanan being blind will be a way for me to get Brooke to watch Rebels, because she likes characters that have disabilities, and she really likes blind people who can kick ass in the blind. So
there you go.
There you go.
Further question: do you think you turn to the dark side?
Yeah, 100%.
I wouldn't stick to the Jedi's.
I wouldn't become a Sith.
Yeah.
You can fall to the dark side without becoming a Sith. Here's something Alex doesn't know, which Tom has become privy to. There's this sort of ongoing conversation between Teresa and I, which has gone on for years, and it pops up at least like once a month. And we get into an argument about the fact that if she could give me superpowers, she wouldn't, because she's worried about what I would do with them. And so we just constantly fall into this trap of like, I'll be somewhere and I get frustrated by, say, the traffic. And I'm like, once again, if we had she's like, I knew you were going to bring this up. She's like, this is why you can't be given superpowers.
Wait, what would you do with the superpowers if you...
Well, when I get really mad in traffic.
Example.
So when I get really mad in traffic, I like... Have you ever seen Chronicle?
Yes, yeah, you brought
where
that.
Where the kid just throws the other car off the road.
Okay, so you do that with all of the
No, of course not. But
I thought you do like a parting of the sea, like in
yes, that is what. Or you could just fly your car up and over them, like you're the Gadget Mobile.
Well, it does depend on what your power is, but yes.
Well, yeah.
Omnipotence.
I mean, telekinetics. What I would always go with. I think it's the OP power.
Sure,
it's unfairly powerful. But yeah, I don't think any one of us here would end up doing anything. Like there's no way we'd be absolute power corrupts, you know.
A Kiadi Mundi, get the fuck out of here.
All right. Well, you guys got anything else? Because I think it's time to head out.
Nope.
Slater has one last
right.
thing. He says, Tuna snoozing on this deep Jedi lore. Stay awake, King.
By the way,
Once you start going too deep, it's
I know.
I just finished Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I'm just so happy about how weird it is. They're doing weird shit that you've never seen before in Star Wars. It is I always say Star Wars, I think, is best when it's just wizards in space. This is the most wizard ass, like Game of Thrones, like medieval fucking space shit they've ever done. And it's very cool.
Hell yeah.
About this.
I gave him free liberty to change up the direction every time.
Where was Matt?
Where is he? Like in a closet? Like
yeah, I think so. But you know what he can do? He can stay unranked.
He can suck it.